Gary Dahl and the pet rock. Gary Dahl did not invent a machine or discover a rare material. He became famous by selling ordinary rocks. In the 1970s, Dahl worked in advertising. One evening, while people were complaining about how difficult pets could be, he imagined the easiest pet in the world. It would not need food. It would not make noise. It would not need walking, cleaning, training, or attention. It would simply sit there. That joke became the pet rock. The rock itself was not special. The brilliance was in the presentation. Dahl placed the rock inside a small cardboard box designed like a pet carrier. He added air holes and included a funny instruction manual that treated the rock as if it were a real animal. The customer was not buying a stone. The customer was buying the joke. The timing helped. The product arrived during a period when novelty gifts could spread quickly through conversation, newspapers, and television. People bought it because it was ridiculous, and that was exactly the point. Dahl showed that value is not always inside the object itself. Sometimes value comes from the story wrapped around it. A plain rock became profitable because someone gave it personality, humor, and perfect packaging. Sara Blakely and Spanx. Sara Blakely's success began with a clothing problem, not a business plan. Before creating Spanx, she worked as a fax machine salesperson. One day, she wanted to wear white pants but disliked how regular pantyhose looked with open-toed shoes. Instead of accepting the problem, she cut the feet off a pair of control-top pantyhose. The result gave her the smoother look she wanted without showing fabric at the toes. At first, it was just a personal fix. But the idea stayed with her because the problem was not unique. Many women wanted shapewear that felt practical, comfortable, and invisible under certain outfits. Blakely realized that her small clothing adjustment could become a real product. She invested her savings, researched patents, contacted manufacturers, and pushed the idea even when people in the industry doubted her. What began as a quick wardrobe solution slowly became Spanx, one of the most successful fashion brands of its kind. Her story is powerful because the accident was hidden inside daily life. She did not discover a new planet or invent a complex machine. She noticed discomfort, solved it for herself, and understood that millions of others might want the same solution. A pair of cut pantyhose became the start of a billion-dollar business. Spencer Silver and Art Fry. The Post-it note began with a glue that failed. Spencer Silver was a scientist at 3M trying to create a strong adhesive. Instead, he developed a weak glue. It could stick to surfaces, but it could also be removed easily. For the original goal, that was not success. A glue that did not hold strongly seemed like a mistake. For years, the unusual adhesive had no clear purpose. Silver believed it was interesting, but interest alone does not create a product. The missing piece came from Art Fry, another 3M employee. Fry sang in a church choir and became frustrated because paper bookmarks kept slipping out of his hymnal. Silver's weak glue suddenly made sense. It could hold a bookmark in place without damaging the page. That simple use changed everything. The Post-it note became one of the most recognizable office products in the world. Its strength came from the exact quality that first made it seem useless. It stuck lightly. It moved easily. It solved a small problem people had everywhere. This story shows how failure can be waiting for the right context. Silver created something that did not match his assignment. Fry found the perfect problem for it. Together, they turned weak glue into a product used across offices, schools, homes, and workplaces around the world. Harry Coover and superglue. Superglue came from a chemical that was too difficult to handle. During wartime research, Harry Coover worked with materials connected to clear plastic gun sights. In that process, he encountered cyanoacrylate compounds. These chemicals bonded extremely fast and stuck to almost everything they touched. For the original project, that was a problem. The material was annoying, messy, and not useful for the intended purpose. Years later, Coover came across the same type of compound again. This time, he looked at it differently. The very thing that made the chemical frustrating could also make it valuable. A substance that bonded too strongly for one experiment could become an incredibly powerful adhesive for everyday use. That shift in thinking helped lead to superglue. The lesson is simple but important. Some discoveries do not look useful when they first appear. They may even look like obstacles. The key is seeing whether the unwanted behavior could solve another problem somewhere else. Coover did not create success by forcing the chemical to behave differently. He succeeded by understanding what it already did best. A material that once ruined experiments eventually became a household essential. Its flaw was not really a flaw. It was the feature waiting to be understood. Percy Spencer and the microwave oven. Percy Spencer was working with radar equipment when he noticed something strange. A candy bar in his pocket had melted. For most people, that would have been an irritation. Spencer became curious. He was working with magnetrons, devices that produced microwave energy for radar systems. If the machine could melt chocolate, maybe it could heat other foods too. He began experimenting. Popcorn kernels popped. An egg reacted dramatically. These small tests helped reveal a new way to heat food using microwave energy. The first microwave ovens were large, expensive, and very different from the compact appliances used today. But the basic idea came from that unexpected observation. The moment matters because Spencer treated a minor accident like evidence. He did not ignore the melted candy. He asked what caused it. That question led from military technology into the kitchen. The microwave oven changed everyday life because it made heating food faster and more convenient. It became part of homes, restaurants, offices, dorm rooms, hotels, and convenience stores across the world. Spencer's story proves that discovery can begin with something extremely ordinary. A melted snack became the clue. Curiosity turned the clue into an invention. An accident near radar equipment helped create one of the most common kitchen appliances in modern life. George de Mestral and Velcro. George de Mestral found his idea attached to his clothes. After walking outdoors with his dog, he noticed burrs stuck to his clothing and to the dog's fur. Most people would simply pull them off and move on. De Mestral became interested in why they attached so effectively. He studied the burrs closely and saw tiny hooks that could catch onto loops in fabric and hair. Nature had already designed a fastening system. His task was to copy the principle in a manufactured form. That observation eventually led to Velcro, a hook and loop fastener that could open and close repeatedly. It did not need buttons, laces, knots, or buckles. It was simple, reusable, and useful in clothing, bags, shoes, medical equipment, sports gear, and even space-related applications. The remarkable part is that the inspiration came from annoyance. Burrs were not rare. People had been removing them from clothes and animals for centuries. De Mestral saw engineering where others saw irritation. His success came from paying attention to a small natural design. The plant did not know it was offering an invention. The inventor recognized the pattern and turned it into a product. A walk in nature became the beginning of a global fastening system. Frank Epperson and the Popsicle. Frank Epperson was only a child when he accidentally created a frozen treat that would become famous. In 1905, he left a mixture of sugary drink powder and water outside overnight with a stirring stick still inside it. The temperature dropped and the mixture froze around the stick. The next day, he found something simple and surprising. It was a frozen sweet treat that could be held by the stick and eaten easily. The idea was not immediately a huge business. Years later, Epperson returned to the childhood accident, patented the concept, and began selling the frozen treat. It eventually became known as the Popsicle. The reason it worked was not complicated. People already liked cold sweet foods. The stick made it portable. Children could hold it. Vendors could sell it easily. The product was fun, cheap, and instantly understandable. Epperson's story has a different feeling from many business stories because the first version happened almost by mistake. No laboratory, no boardroom, no big invention plan, just a drink left outside on a cold night. The weather did the first experiment for him. His later decision turned the frozen accident into a product. A forgotten cup became a summer classic because someone remembered the accident and gave it a name. Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis. Levi Strauss became successful during the gold rush, but not by finding gold. He went to California as thousands of people were chasing wealth through mining. Instead of digging in the ground, Strauss supplied goods to the workers. Miners needed durable clothing, and ordinary pants often wore out quickly under rough conditions. The important breakthrough came from Jacob Davis, a tailor who began using metal rivets to strengthen stress points on work pants. Davis knew the idea had value, but he needed help securing a patent. He partnered with Levi Strauss, and together they created riveted work pants that became the foundation of blue jeans. This was not an accident like a spilled chemical or melted chocolate. It was accidental in the way opportunity appeared. Strauss did not become rich from the gold itself. He became wealthy by serving the people who were searching for it. The gold rush created a huge demand for tough clothing. Strauss and Davis answered that demand with a practical improvement. Over time, pants made for labor became a global fashion symbol worn far beyond mines, farms, and workshops. Their story shows that wealth often gathers around major events in unexpected ways. When everyone runs toward the obvious prize, another person may succeed by selling what the crowd needs. The miners chased gold. Strauss helped clothe them. John Pemberton and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola began as a pharmacist's creation in Atlanta. John Pemberton developed the syrup in the 1880s, and it was first sold at a pharmacy soda fountain. At that early stage, it was not the worldwide brand people recognize today. It was one drink among many in a growing market for flavored beverages and soda fountain products. The name and presentation helped shape its future. Frank Robinson, Pemberton's bookkeeper, suggested the name Coca-Cola and wrote it in the flowing script that later became famous. The drink gradually became more than a formula, it became a brand. Pemberton himself did not enjoy the massive wealth that Coca-Cola later created. He sold parts of the business before the drink became a global giant. Others expanded it through bottling, advertising, distribution, and brand building. That makes the story unusual. Pemberton accidentally created something far larger than his own life, but he did not fully benefit from what it became. Coca-Cola shows that creating a valuable idea and capturing its value are not always the same thing. The original invention was important, but the empire came from scaling, marketing, and protecting the brand over time. A pharmacy syrup became one of the most recognized products in the world, but its creator never saw the full size of the fortune it would eventually produce. Ferruccio Lamborghini and the Ferrari complaint. Ferruccio Lamborghini was already wealthy before he built sports cars. He had made his fortune through tractors and industrial equipment in post-war Italy. But his entry into the supercar world came from frustration. Lamborghini owned Ferraris and was reportedly unhappy with certain mechanical problems, especially the clutch. The famous version says he complained to Enzo Ferrari and felt dismissed because he was seen as a tractor manufacturer rather than a serious sports car expert. Instead of accepting the insult, Lamborghini decided to build his own car. That decision changed automotive history. Lamborghini created a company that became one of Ferrari's most famous rivals. The brand developed a reputation for bold design, powerful engines, dramatic styling, and a rebellious personality that separated it from more traditional luxury cars. The accidental part of this story is emotional. It did not begin with a new technology or a planned industry takeover. It began with irritation, pride, and the feeling of being underestimated. A complaint became motivation. Motivation became competition. Competition became a brand recognized across the world. Lamborghini's story works because it shows how one uncomfortable moment can redirect success. He already had money, but one frustration pushed him into a completely different industry. The result was not just another car company. It was a symbol of speed, ego, and ambition. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.